right, welcome. It is now the month of August. Can you believe it? People are now saying that summer is almost over. Everybody go, boo to summer. I like summer. I don't want summer to be over. Yeah, kids are heading back to college in my household. They're heading back to school. And yet we will return back to fall. And then we also have this COVID thing as well. So I guess it's rearing its head. We'll save comments for that later. At this point, this is how we're proceeding here. We still got room in here if you want to come, but we got a great group online as well. And today I'm going to talk about our real estate market, but I'm going to focus particularly on just some numbers because I think it's telling a little bit of story that we need to be aware of as well. Once Norman gets my PowerPoint going. Come on, Norman, let's go. Okay, anybody got anything good and want to share with us? Get some energy going. Share something good, something exciting. Yes. All right.
She has her first listing presentation.
Cool. Good job. Go get it. Anybody else? Murtis, what happened? You moved from the front row over there. Oh. Anybody else got any? Can be online too. Anything exciting? Personal, business? You'd love to share? Yes. Okay, you're going to be welcome again. Good. All right, welcome. Anybody else? Murtis, what you got?
Okay. I took the challenge to lead cold calling in the mornings. Chris challenge, and we are going to be making cold calls Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Get the listing out here in the bullpen. So join me, please.
Awesome. What time?
9 until 11.
9 until 11. So if you want to step up, it's always good to do things you're uncomfortable with, i.e. cold calling with another group of people. Okay, awesome. Go ahead.
So I finally implemented one of my smart plans and actually got a lead from it. So
oh, wow. Imagine that. Smart plan lead.
Yeah. It was somebody I knew, but she wasn't responding. But for some reason, she responded to the smart plan. So
okay.
I set up an appointment.
Okay. They work. That's good. We need to hear evidence of that instead of just making it. Yes, sir.
So we decided that we wanted to give a try to sending out like what they call like a golden letter. Essentially, is you
love letter.
Send, yeah, a letter out to we sent it out to homes assessed at about 500 or above. So in this market, that could be pretty well. We sent out 100 to try it out, see how it goes, and hopefully we get a lead from that. So that'd be pretty awesome.
Okay, great. Those are the love letter golden letters. If you've seen that, to learn more, you would go to the Pivot Facebook page. And you can learn a little bit more about those. A huge success. Yes. Anybody? Gary.
Started calling expired from a year and a half ago before COVID, when COVID just started. And I have a listing appointment.
Okay. Going back.
They still work, everybody. They still work.
Yes. Yes. Gary's still after it, is what he's saying. He's still got it. He's got a listing for how much?
505,000.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tabitha,
remember, he had a good month last month too. So
Tabitha online says she has a potential listing.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we know the activities and everything's creeping up. So keep after it, keep working it, keep going. All right. Productivity coach. Oh, Nikki, here she is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So for everybody who was not connected earlier, Chad, music choices horrible. He loves Justin Bieber.
No, I do not. I just serve the record. I do like Coldplay. I wear that often. If you don't like Coldplay, there's just something wrong with you. Maybe the Killers. Killers is a new group, right? Who's my music connoisseurs out here? What's new? Not in the 70s or 80s. Okay, great. Thank you.
The Spice Girls. That was the next
No, I
you
don't
were
know
about to
anything about the
say.
Spice Girls. Okay, go ahead.
So, everybody got new listings in the PC. So we're all very proud of you. Absolutely. Gary and I are here to assist you in any way possible.
So how many specifically?
So we got 20 last month.
20 listings coming from the PC program with our new agent. That is awesome. Good
And
work.
Thank guys, you're doing amazing. And to talk about the gold letters, actually 3 agents from the PC did it and got a couple listings each in the last 3 months. So
Okay.
they really work.
Yes.
What's new in our world? We're having great classes for the month of August. Gary, of course, is teaching the usual hands-on contract and leases. And we will be introducing goal setting, more role play, and open houses again, and how to use Vulcan 7. We got a lot of questions from the PC people on how to use Vulcan. So we put in a class. Please keep an eye out on the calendar. And the contract to close class is starting on Monday. So for whoever finished Ignite, please sign up, and whoever wants a refresh on contracts, on what conversations to have with buyers or sellers, please sign up. It's going to be every week, every day, Monday to Friday next week from 9 to 11:30-ish.
Awesome. When's Gary's class?
Gary's class, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. You know, it was interesting when we interviewed Audra 2 weeks ago. Audra sells a little bit of real estate. Would we agree?
Yeah.
Yes. And she said one thing about contracts was what?
To learn it all.
You know it backwards and forward. You can be able to explain it. And Gary does a beautifully job to walk through it. He has a lot more patience than I did in explaining it. And so even if you do, go back, and that way you know it backwards and forward. It should never be something that your heartbeat goes up because you can't explain something.
I think an interesting point in what she said about that was that it helps with your negotiations, right? So
Yeah.
knowing it backwards and forward allows you to assist your client in negotiating that deal for completion. And there's hardly any deal she does not win.
Okay.
Yep.
What time again? Gary doesn't even know. You probably should tell Gary he's teaching a class tomorrow.
Tomorrow is in the evening.
Evening,
Yes, it's an evening class. It's at 6 p.m.
4 to 6.
For whoever of you guys needs help, needs accountability, needs coaching, needs contract help, please call us. We're always available. And we have better music taste.
Okay, great. Not really, but
1 to 3, 1 to 3.
1 to 3. 1 to 3 tomorrow with Gary as well. All right, Greg, marketing. Come on, Greg. Give us something of value.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay right here. You slide around me.
Okay, cool. How's everyone doing? Cool. My name is Greg. I handle the marketing for the office. So one, I just want to kind of extend an invitation. So can you get to the next slide?
Mhm. On it.
So last week, I let you guys know that we're one of the official sponsors of the Sugarland Skeeters. So we're having like an official like Keller Williams Skeeters family night. So we're inviting all of our agents. So we're getting like a whole bunch of tickets, and we want everyone to, we're gonna have a whole section. We kind of celebrate with each other, you know, to have a good time, have food, drinks, and so forth. So we're allowing agents to have up to 4 tickets. So you just got to send a request to me. We're gonna have a link out where you can register for tickets, but if you email me directly, GregoryS@kw.com, you can have up to 4 tickets. We encourage you to bring your family. Chad's going to be there. A lot of the staff is going to be there. A lot of our top agents are going to be there. We want everyone to be there. Just have a great time at the office. We're working on some other things, like we might have some like gifts and things like that for agents and like some merch. So we're working on a few things, but we definitely want to have a good time with our office, with our market center, with all the hard work that you guys do. Definitely want to make that happen. So that's Friday, August 13th at 6 p.m. Gates open at 5. It's gonna be a great opportunity from a marketing standpoint for content. So we're gonna have like a videographer there. We're gonna have photographers there. Of course, you guys can post your own photos and of course use your hashtag KW Southwest and do some really amazing things. So awesome.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, put that on your calendar.
Yep.
Get your tickets. Let's fill it up. All right. Okay, couple of big events we got coming up. August is busy, meaning we're putting a lot together. So pay attention online. Make sure if you're sleeping, this is where you want to pay attention. We almost got up to 50 online. Why does everybody nobody wants to come in and see us in here? We've got Rain. She's wearing her mask. That's all cool, right?
I don't know about
Yeah,
Chad, but
right.
when I'm up
Yeah.
here, it packs
Okay, let's go.
We pack the stage up here. Okay, so we do have a lot of events. It's geared to getting you hitting your goals, both your personal and your professional goals. So there is a calendar out there. You can find it on KW Southwest, our closed Facebook group. You can find it on our internet calendar, and you can find it on kwsw25.com as well. Our first thing that's coming up on the same day, but before the Skeeters event, is we're getting on a bus to Siena Bus Tour. Several of you guys have already signed up for that and reserved.
Murtis is going.
Murtis is going.
Pam's
She sure
going.
is.
Anybody
Pam
else
is
sign up
going.
for it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Did you
He's
sign
going.
up?
He did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ah,
But you signed up.
but you're gonna sign up.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
You're
You
gonna
just
sign
raised your
up.
hand, so you're gonna sign up.
Pam might hijack the bus and take you on some unknown.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so be
She was
really
inspired.
clear. This is a partnership with Johnson Development.
Absolutely.
Johnson Development is funding this, getting a bus. They're gonna feed you. They're gonna give you an overall. So if you don't have a great understanding of Siena, and we got some Siena experts who are gonna join us too, please join us to get a good view of the development. You do not want to miss that. As of right now, I think we got 30 seats
Mhm.
and we're
Almost
down to
half.
maybe 15 left or
Yeah.
less.
What about that?
Well, you're going to get fed. You're going to have a good time. You're going to stop. We're going to give you drinks afterwards. Yes, you're going to be locked into it. If you have to escape, you just go to Pam's house. She'll give you a ride home or something. But I'm going to tell you, if you're going to be a market expert in geographical, you got to attend this for Siena.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that Audra said was a big thing for her outside of just knowing the contract is knowing your market and understanding and gaining that knowledge because it helps you with your business. So on someone else's dime, we love that, right? You get to go explore Siena, learn about it. If you haven't already signed up, you can go to the link or you can use your QR code scanner. You might need to move that picture. You can scan this and get registered right now, okay? Other upcoming things that we have, it's not just about just the market knowledge. Your business grows to the extent that you do. So we have mega camp coming up on August 23rd through the 26th, but 25th really. If you have not signed up for that, please sign up for that. We will have several events surrounding that and we're going to the theater. We're gonna do it up. It's gonna be a mega experience. So stay tuned for links out for that. Please sign up. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm also open, myself and Namesh, the entire leadership team. If there are training or classes that you would like to see, please drop us an email and let us know, and we will try to get you connected or have those classes themselves.
So just to give you a recap of what Mega Agent Camp is, right? It's an event that Gary puts together and he interviews the best of the best. Huge producers, right? Who are megas, who are profitable in the business, and they just share strategies. Obviously, with COVID, Austin is locked down, meaning we only can limit it to a certain amount of seats. I believe we have, how many from our office going?
9 this morning.
Yeah, so 9 to 10 who are actually going to go in person to see it. It was based on some criteria production along the way to be able to be offered a ticket, but you can watch it virtually like we did last year. And yet to kick it off, we're renting out a movie theater. We're partnering with Signature. Jan and I are working together. We're going to fill up a movie theater and we're just going to watch it together virtual there and kind of give us a good experience. And then you can go off and watch it virtually on your own as well.
Yeah,
So
we'll have
mark
some-
those down and we're going to have some fun around those events.
Absolutely. And some breakout sessions here as well. So stay tuned for that information. Don't ignore your emails. Don't ignore your text messages and don't ignore the phone because you will miss out on opportunities to grow yourself and your business.
Yeah, so our joke that we use as a leadership team for you guys to understand an event we're putting on, you know how many times we have to tell you? 47 is the joke, 47 times. Kind of like the people in your database. If you don't touch them, 47, Gary Keller says 36, right, is a new touch program, then you never know when that touch is going to be successful. So this is one.
Or unsuccessful.
It's always successful because yes, absolutely. Okay. Any questions on our August online or anybody? Any questions you might have with the events that are coming up? Come and participate and jump in. Things are more enjoyable when there's more people involved. And the Siena Bus Tour is that's your first thing to take advantage of. And then join us with your family for the Skeeters night. That will be fun. Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Chris is transmitting. Transmittal is when we close out our books from the previous day. I don't know if you realize this with Keller Williams because the profit share system. So by the third business day, we close out the books of the previous month. Third business day. That's quite a feat. Right now, we're dealing with 350, maybe 375 transactions that we have to close. So at the end of the month, when you guys all wait to the end, the last day of the month to close, Dale, I don't know why they do that, but they wait, you guys, you wait till the last day. Rahina always closes on the last day of the month. No, I'm just kidding. Yet we got to track down that money so we can keep the integrity of our profit share in the way that we run business. Your cap is affected by as well to close out. So she's doing that, but it is really cool that we close it out.
I think
Our number.
one thing to consider on your own level as an agent about that, if they're processing 370, let's call it 380 transactions within 3 days, look how quickly you get paid, right? That's one transaction each time, and they're able to get you your money. We have some agents that we are co-oping with that don't get their money for months on end. Your bills come every month. And so having a transaction office or back end like this that can push out that many transactions in a specific time is part of our value. So pay attention to that. It's more than just we're pushing out all these transactions. You're getting paid on time so that you can continue to support your family.
Okay, let's do a little market update and see what's going on in the market. If I was to ask you right now, what's the market doing? What would you say? Kimbra, slowing down. Rahina, slowing down. Okay. Still hot. Okay. Anything else? What else have you heard? Okay, good take. What else? Anybody else? Gary, what do you say?
Still hot, but slowing down.
Okay, still hot, but slowing down. Okay. What else? Okay, the cost of material and lumber is still high. Okay, that affects things. The prices have gone up. Okay, let's take a look at Fort Bend if we can, right? So I like to look at a snapshot of what's going on in the market, and you always have to do it. Here's the first thing I want you to know is, if you ever hear anyone say, oh, this is 2008 all over again, just tell them they're I'll leave a blank right in that. You fill it into it, because it is not the same. It will never be the same. No shift is the same. We're not in the same market. Remember, in 2008, when we had a shift, real estate caused the shift. Our lenders did. No, lenders are in here too, right? We'll cause it about. They were giving money away. It was just a mess, right? So let's just break down. Here's what I like to look at. When I look at a snapshot chart, I go to a tool that's called Broker Metrics. It's a tool at the office that I can search and look at some things. And I like to first look at our area. When I say our area, I do that in 4 MLSs, right? Because we are divided into MLSs. It gives a little bit better snapshot than just looking at Fort Bend County. Does anybody know what MLSs I look at that are in our area? 29, 30, 37, and 38. 29 is what area? Basically Sugarland. 30 is what?
Richmond, Rosenberg, 38,
Okay.
39.
37 is what? What's your area? Yes, you know your area.
Yes.
Okay. So really, I look at it because I just like the information it gives. It's a little bit more encompassing. And then I'm going to break this down and look at cities. I'll look at Sugarland, I'll look at Richmond, and I'll look at Missouri City. Obviously, you can study these even more. Okay, here's what it's telling me. The first number I look at is what we call month supply of inventory. Everybody know what month supply of inventory means? Who has no idea? No. There you go. Very good. She's just getting started. So yeah. So month supply of inventory. If no new homes came on the market, meaning based on the demand, we would be totally out of inventory. Remember, perfect world. There is a home out there that's never going to sell no matter what we do to it, because we got it priced wrong and it's wrong condition, right? But it's just meaning it's going to be gone. So now if you look at it, it is the first time that we've seen a slight increase in our market. Now, if you compare it back to 19, it was 3.4 months, still a seller's market, right? But it went to it's at 1.2, a slight increase that we've seen since really the first time. Now, we're looking at July. Can shifts be seasonal?
Yes.
Yes. Do we always slow down a little bit in July? Yes, because it's school, people are on vacation. We could look at a lot of factors, but now we're going to pay really close attention to this and see if the days on market starts to creep up. It's a great inventory. So when I ask Kimber, what does she look at? Kimber gets really hyper local and looks at what area? Pecan Grove, because that's her area. The more that you can hone into your area, the more specific, because remember, real estate is based on location, like no kidding, Chad. But the more hyper local we can get, the better we can understand it. Now, I'm giving you a little bit of snapshot along the way. So here's our days on market, a little bit of creep up. Okay. And it'll actually go by each month. So you can look at it, but incredibly low months of supply of inventory. Like we haven't really ever seen this in our industry that low. That's what creates the frenzy. Then if we look at it, here's for sale, here's under contract, and here is sold. So if you look at it here and we look at it a graph, right? So for sale, just in our MLSs, right? In July, there was 928 opportunities. So if you say there's no listings to go get, there was 928 to go get. Don't let them go to our competitor. We need to grab them and take them, right? Under contract was 397 and sold was 346. Those are incredibly, the numbers are still there for our solds, meaning we're still selling homes at an all-time rate, right? They're really, really going. If you look at it over the last couple of years, right, they're still moving at a hard rate. But in July of 19, we throw 354. We were at 346. This was a huge, strong market. 19 was strong. We're still in a strong market. Homes are still selling, and we just have less inventory. But it's starting to creep. You're starting to see it go up, but nothing compared to what it was 2 years ago or even a year ago. And then I look at average days on market. This is all of it. Average days on market, though, over 2 years, if you look at it, still 16.8 as an average. Even considers that property that won't sell, that's been on the market for 3,040 days. Have you seen that one? Right? It still takes that into consideration when it comes to averages. And we are still, right now, it's still on a downward trend when days on average. Okay, that's the MLSs. Now let's just jump at it and look at each one of them. And we'll look first. Whoops. That was Richmond, that's Sugarland. Hold on, let me jump. Norman didn't follow my order.
Oh.
Okay. That was my fault. Here's our month supply of inventory, the MLSs. You're going to see all the same trends that just comes here. 1.3, slight tick up. Here's our for sales. That was Richmond that I was talking about. Hold on, this is all of them. So in our MLSs, 3,316. So if you ever hear anyone say there's no listings out there, you go, really? Because it looks like for sale, there's 3,316 available. Why didn't you go get them? Problem was you didn't get to those people what? First. If you don't get to them first, chances go down. Here is 24 months, days of inventory. This is all of them. Richmond is on a downward spike. All of MLS is up. I screwed that up. I didn't pay attention. I'm gonna blame it on Norman. Norman, can I blame it on you? Okay. I go fast too when I'm presenting. Here's our month supply of inventory, slight increase. Here's our solds. Still way, for sales are way down. Our solds are still up over a 2-year average. Here's Sugarland. So if we go back and we look at Sugarland, here's our recap of Sugarland. In Sugarland alone, there's 612 homes, 245 under contract, 227. If you were to compare July 21 to 19, there was only 200. So more homes are selling in July in Sugarland than there was 2 years ago. Oh, and then there's less inventory. Sugarland days on, average days on market is 21. You say, what do you do with this? Depends on what your area is and you're focused on. Here's Missouri City. Missouri City is a slighter increase. Missouri City keeps not quite as hot. If you look at the solds, isn't this kind of interesting? July of 19 in Missouri City, there was 192 homes sold. July of last month, there was 192 homes sold. So you feel it as a slight slowdown, right? But when you kick back and take a step back, it really isn't. Was 19 a really good market? Yeah, 19 was really good. You can really study this and look at it. And we can analyze it from different directions. And here's my month's supply of inventory, right? It's 1.2. And you guys are all saying it's slowing down. And if you put your hand on a hot stove, it burns and it's really hot. If you put it back again and you put it a little bit over it, it's hot and you go, it's cooling down. Yeah, it is, because how hot it was just moments ago. So now, what does this all mean? I read anybody else read articles after articles on economists, on what's going to happen in our market? Anyone else? Just me? Okay, now, if you understand your hyperlocal market, that's number one. So take all this into consideration, because there's all sorts of theories. But anytime I hear anyone say, oh, this is 2008 all over again, I stop reading the article, because it's not. And how do we know that? Every shift is different. It never looks the same. Are we going to have some slight shift? Of course we are. We have seasonal shifts, right? We have shifts in perspective. Anything that happens, there's a slight shift. But our market, now, would I own real estate today? Would I go out and buy a piece of property? Absolutely, because in 5 to 10 years, there's nothing better than owning real estate. And if you're going to turn around and buy it at the top, and then you got to sell in 6 months, then we got to be a little leery. I can't promise you things are going to continue to be hot and in that favor. Correct me if I'm wrong along the way. All right, here's an article. Here's some things to keep into, right? Here's the one thing that we do that we know. There are buyers out there who wanted to buy in the spring coming up to the summer that were unable to purchase a home. Would you agree with that? Okay, great. Tell me if I'm wrong. They're going to come back, right? Have you heard anyone going, this has gotten so stupid. Our family is going to go on vacation. We're going to get the kids back in school, and then we're going to come back. Anybody heard that, or is that just me making this up? Okay, great. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's okay. I'm not actively in sales. I talk and visit with top producers and agents, and I read a lot. Okay. So that's another thing. They're still out there. They're just like, this has gotten stupid. We're going to go enjoy the summer in July and go spend the money on a vacation. Okay. There's something we have to do. Now, some sellers wanted to sell, but they said what?
I can't find the house.
I can't find the house, and where the heck am I going to go? Anybody else meet that scenario? Okay, so what's going to happen to them? If you don't stay in close contact with them and get them on a smart plan, or make the phone call, or reach out and touch with them, they'll probably sell and buy again. It might be with somebody else. Because remember, opportunity doesn't go away. Where's opportunity goes? Somebody else. Yeah, don't let it go to somebody else. Keep those people close. Keep communicating with them what's going on in the market, because they're reading stuff that's all over the page as well. So now we have to also educate our sellers. Have you had a seller that was so unrealistic with the price, they threw a price out in the sky? Yep. Okay, we're going to have to communicate them and bring them back into the market. The Shift book articulates this really well. If you haven't read it, it's the tale of two markets. The throwing the pie in the sky, that's not going to work anymore. We are going to have some price adjustments. Don't call that a downward spike where their prices are dropping. It's an adjustment. Like, seller, you got to come at it. What are you reading? Well, if I get this price, I could sell it. My home's for sale, right? I own 3 homes. They're all for sale right now. Give me the right offer, I'll sell it. I'm not actively marketing it, right? That's what there was a while ago, we had a house in Greatwood when it was going to seasonal, and this was years ago. And I said, my home's always for sale. They said, can we show it? Sure. And they came and showed it, and they made an offer, and we were homeless. I own real estate. My home is always for sale. So now you wouldn't want to work with me because I might be unrealistic about the price, but people are always for sale. Now, if they just want to test it a little bit, it's going to be tougher moving into this season to be able to do it, right? Your buyers might have a moment to sleep on something and catch their breath though. If you had somebody goes, we want to sleep on it, you can go, you can sleep on it, but if you do, it won't be available tomorrow. That takes a lot of skill to be able to, and it's kind of, you feel almost like a used car salesman when you got to get people to make offers that fast. Anybody felt like that? When you got to get people to really make a quick decision because you know the property will be gone. They're going to have a little bit more, they're going to have a little bit more time to make a decision, right? Here's an article that I read that talk about tire kickers. Anybody know what a tire kicker is? Yeah, they usually show up to every open house that you have, but they haven't done anything because they're out looking. You're going to get a season of them returning back again, right? They weren't even messing with it because properties didn't even have a chance to do it. But your tire kickers. So what do we say about tire kickers, Dale? What's number one?
That they are not serious. They have done nothing.
So what would you suggest the first thing they do?
The first thing they do is get a lender, make certain.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing like hauling around a buyer who hasn't done the work, right? And they're returning and hasn't done the work to be able to purchase. How many, what's your all-time record for showing a buyer on a home? How many homes did you show them? Kimber or Gary? Okay. 5 years, okay? Yeah, they were tire kickers for a while. Yeah. Gary?
About a year or so, number of homes, I was young and foolish, as they say, about 40 some.
Yeah. I've been guilty of 60 plus. 60. Huh?
My first client.
Yeah.
I was brand new.
Uh-huh.
I showed them almost like 90 homes.
90 homes.
90
Did they ever
homes.
buy?
And you know what? We gave, my husband was telling he's not going to buy, he's not going to buy. And I kept on saying, no, he's serious. He used to come from California and show up like 10 homes in a day. And finally, me and another one of my colleagues, we gave it on them and we just let them go. I said, I had enough of it. Everything.
Oh, it took you 90 homes to have enough of it. So it takes.
I was with Gary at the time.
Oh, you're with Gary.
You know, you're trying too many, but I was brand new.
Yeah.
The first client, and we just dumped them.
90 homes, dumping them.
Yeah.
Right,
I had,
yes. So just so you know, some of that's hard to do. They're returning. Remember, watch out for your tire kickers. Make sure they're pre-approved. Number one, don't haul them around. Get them criteria and selective what to do it. Don't go show 90 homes. I think I was 65 maybe on somebody. Man, I really made in my mind I could justify it. Huh? Never. Yeah.
Yeah, I just consulted with one of our I don't know if it was our agent or just an agent, and they had shown 52 homes. It's
Yeah.
like, I need you to. Yo, find the motivated, work with those motivated, qualify them and put them in the right bucket. You know, still talk to them, but you don't have to go show them 50 something.
Okay, here's a little bit of reality when our market slows down a little bit, right? These are all things that you know. These are reminders, right? We're going to have to get back to prepping our homes for sale, meaning that, remember when you hand the seller a checklist and they say, do all this, and they go, in this market, I don't need to, and they rumple it up and throw it and it sells anyways. We're going to have to educate sellers to get back into it and go, we're going to need to prep your home, because homes that are prep, meaning do the work up front, staging, all those things, they're going to matter a little bit more. There's no frenzy in this, but we're going to have to get back to selling real estate the way it should be. We were in a little bit of a crazy land. We call it crazy.
Don't forget about your opportunity to utilize Keller offers to help those sellers who are needing to get their home in order, right? So if you are part of Keller offers, you can go and submit that home to get some of the work done up front, and then they get paid it gets reimbursed at closing. So
yeah. Now, when homes stay on the market longer, is there a benefit to that, Kimbra? What's the biggest, when you're a listing agent and you have markets to just go off the shelf? What's the biggest thing you have? What do you say?
Leads.
Yeah, you don't get the leads because there is no leads, right? So longer marketing time does allow you to have an opportunity. Can't really have an open house if it sells right away. You can that opening weekend, but then it's gone. So the opportunity to market and to circle prospect and to do the open houses, to send out the postcards and all those things, they do return, because we believe a properly marketed listing should pick you up another listing and a buyer if done right. If it stays on the market for 30 seconds, there's not a marketing opportunity. And here's another thought. This is me just sharing thoughts. When we advertise that we sold a home in one day, is that always a great thing? No, it just really tells the consumer, I don't even think you need an agent for this deal because it flew off the shelf. I think you got to be careful with that type of marketing, right? When we say, hey, it was good. I don't know if it's great. Yeah, you got to be careful with that because people are valued. I was reading on a forum, right, that somebody said in a real estate forum where they said, do you think buyer's agents are even needed? Now the forum went off on this person. And yet I would tell you is, man, there's a thought going out there that somebody says, is a buyer agent even needed? And I go, that's when we don't understand the difference between a functionary and a fiduciary, right? Information is out there in this world and people are more confused than ever. They need somebody to simplify this and walk through it. That's why we're telling you, know the contract. That's why we're telling you, understand the market and where you're going. Look at days on market, look at trends, see where things, so you can sit down and have a really good conversation with a buyer and or seller to help them make a decision. But if we don't study and don't know it, you don't stand a chance. So that is so critical of somebody to say that. Yeah, if I was to move to another city, let's just give the theory. I was going to move to Dallas. You know, the chances of me hiring or asking an agent to help me would be very high. You go, why, Chad? You're licensed in Texas. Just go buy your own home. Because I don't know anything about the home and the area and the uptick and what's going on. I'm going to go work with a professional. I got no problem with it. I don't think some of us in this room or online agree that we would go do that because we don't see the value in it, because we don't study the market. We don't know the trends, and we also don't understand the contract entering forward. Right now, if I'm a landlord and I want to lease my home, can it be very easy to do online? Okay. Well, here's the reality of it. Zillow will let me post it.
Yep.
Zillow will provide me all the forms. Oh, through who, by the way? Dotloop. Because Zillow owns Dotloop. That's why we're making this whole trend to go to DocuSign, not because we want to, and you can be provided to you. If that doesn't get you excited and get up and work and to compete, I don't know what will. That's not to scare you. That's just a reality of be a fiduciary, know your market, know your contract, because it's one thing to fill it out. It's another thing to really understand it. I think lease contracts are more complicated than everything before. Am I right, Gary? I get confused in those. A 1 to 4 resale to me is pretty straightforward. I have an opportunity to work with a market center in California. You want to know what a California contract looks like? Tell them, Jack.
I saw one.
It's about this thick, isn't it?
It begins with 54 pages.
Yeah.
I was confused. Somebody sent me to look at it and I couldn't figure out what it was.
And Jack, why are they so thick? Or somebody got sued over something and it had another thing. Yeah.
There's one disclosure after another, all because of litigious society.
Yeah. So be thankful when you think ours is complex. It's not. There's some things to it. It's more complex in some states, but it's still pretty straightforward. Really be able to articulate between an auction period, right, and earnest money, and telling people what they mean. I field calls all day long, people asking me about earnest money. And people just don't understand it. Earnest money goes, ooh, my buyer should get it, my seller should get it. Yeah, I agree with you. But guess what? Until it's released by both parties in the title company, it ain't going anywhere if both people want it. There's a whole process to go through. And you have to understand that when it's at risk, but maybe nobody gets it. Shoot, we have deals in here where money is still sitting with title company, and then it goes to another process and it goes to court of interpeding. You don't even want to know the deal. That's why it's best. And contracts are always written pro buyer. It's just the way it is. Sellers got to tolerate it. It stinks. An option period is truly an unrestricted right to terminate for other reason. And you go, yeah, we'll take $125 for option period. I'd write that check all day long at the stakes. $200. Shoot, I'd go to $500. I mean, I can get out of this contract for what's a reason whatsoever. So really understand that and articulate that with people. Oh yeah, I'm on a tangent here. This is from top people too, I hear all the time. We have an estimated close date. We don't close in that time. Maybe the seller didn't close, the buyer didn't sell. Okay. What happens to the contract, Gary? Well, here's what I want to be specific. Does the contract terminate? No. I keep hearing out of people and producers, they say, well, the contract terminated. It did not terminate. The only way we release a contract is when? Not termination, a release of earnest money. So make sure you understand that a closing date is just an estimated time of close date. Now, we might have a buyer at default. We might have a seller at default, right? But we still have an earnest money contract. That's why the sooner we can release that is always the better. Sellers hate it. That's why we got to advise them sometimes is, I know we could go fight this. Let's just release them, let them go. Let's go sell your property. I've sold it once, I'll sell it again. They don't like it. Kimber doesn't like it. She wants to fight over it, and yet it's not always that case. Guys, once again, going back and understanding your contract and the needs is, if you don't understand all those things, you keep showing up to Gary's class because you articulate and go over it. You keep studying these markets. Every morning, whatever you look at how many homes on market, what's the days on market, what trends are we seeing? We're starting to see, I know he kicked it, we're starting to see an upward trend. Is that what's it take? Right? When you look at averages, we got to look over 90 days to see if that's a trend that's going to continue. We see one little uptick. You're just continuing to tell we're still in a seller's market. We still got to be reasonable about selling your home, right? If you put up a property on the market, there's a chance you're still going to get multiple offers. You won't get 20 probably, but you're still going to get multiple offers. So we're still in a seller's market. And I still think there's a wave of people. Foreclosures. All sorts of news on foreclosures, right? You got to take that with a little grain of salt, right? Because the foreclosure process, right? It is a process. So the minute they lent it, everybody thought all these markets were going to flood. They're not. It's a process. They go through it. Yes, Jack.
I deal with foreclosures or notice of default called in Washington.
Yeah.
And I get a list every week.
Yep.
This week, 1.
Yeah.
Last week, 0. The
Yeah.
week before, 2.
Yep.
They're not happening.
Yeah.
I used to see 25 and 30 a week.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a number out there that all of a sudden we're going to flood this with the foreclosures. And even if we do, and if it does come, right, we're just not seeing it yet. And I just think there's enough buyers out there to keep consuming it and battling it up. So sky's not falling. Is this going to be hard market? Yeah, every market is hard. It was brutal this summer, especially if you're working with buyers. It's still brutal if you have a seller. What's it like to have 30 offers on a home? It's exhausting and stressful, and you got to choose the right one. It is a lot of work. It was a lot of work. So I'm going to keep reiterating this. My wife says I'm a broken record. I can't help myself, right? Understand your market and study it in some way. I'll make these forms available to you. I think it's more specific when you hone into your area and your area. Look at it. Let's watch this over the next few days as well. Get to the sellers and buyers first and tell them the truth. Yes. Yeah.
On those MLSs that you're
Yeah.
looking at, are you taking out new construction? Is that resale only? All those numbers?
Great. I'm doing all properties.
Okay. Yeah,
So
'cause
there is some reason if
specifically-
the resale hit the MLS,
Right.
because you got to remember a lot of the properties that were sold new construction, they were
Right.
ground up. They never even hit the MLS.
Right. So one of the things for people who
Yeah.
deal in Richmond zips, we have so much new construction because that's where the new construction's happening. And a lot of these days on market aren't true because the builders put them on there as specs while they're under construction. So they have an elevated days on market. I'm just curious, any of you working
I would
with
tell you
new
about the
buyers?
data that I reached, the hottest market you have right now is Richmond.
Yeah. So what I want to know is, any of you that are working with buyers that are looking at new construction, are you starting to see some more availability of homes under construction still for sale, or the
I'm
builder's
seeing
still
that more
behind?
So in the Manville, Pearland, Rose Sharon area.
You're seeing what?
I'm seeing more availability in terms of inventory in the Manville, Pearland, Rose Sharon area when it comes to new construction.
Interesting. Anybody? Richmond?
Couple
What
of Richmond.
neighborhood?
Liana is there.
Yeah.
And then a little bit further down, Lakeview. They also are having
Lakeview,
more now.
okay. Slight increase.
More builders are coming from Dallas and Austin and setting up shop. So like History Maker is further down in Berkshire area, and so yeah, Berkshire area.
They're having problems with, behind
In their construction. Yeah.
All right, here's my final thoughts. You can take this with a grain of salt. I'm just one guy giving his opinion, right? Like some of you like shut him off, just like I do with some people who write on this, right? Yes, we had a hot stove. We had our hand on it. It was one of the hottest markets you'd ever seen according to sellers, right? It is slowed off just a tad bit. Is that going to be a trend that continues? I'm not sure, right? We still have a group of buyers and wave that are out there. We still have some sellers that would love to do something, but they were like, there's nothing out there. They're still there. We're going to continue with the strong market. That's not going away, right? Interest rates are what, Dale? Okay. Yeah, you're not seeing it. Remember, historical low in interest rates. Our market's going to stay hot. You got to get to buyers and sellers first. It's going to be more competitive than ever. OfferPad, Zillow, they're offering to buy up homes left and right. You have a tool if you need to with Keller Offers just to get to the table. Yeah. Most people don't even choose that route, but get there with the tool that makes you highly successful. Stay in front of your people. You got to remind them 47 times because you think like they're not paying attention to you until you hit them at the right time. Then all of a sudden they raise their hand. Yeah, lead generating is going to count. You got ways to do it. If you want a cold prospect with Murdas, and you can do it in the bullpen and do it together. I love that, right? And create an environment over time. Okay, that's all I have. Let's go to our partners.
Hi.
Who's coming? We don't have you on the screen. They don't know who you are at this point. You haven't told them 47 times.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm from downstairs, Patent Title. I did want to mention real quick about the earnest money release. Once we get it, it takes the title company 10 days to release the check. So just be prepared with that. So
that's if both parties release it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Set the right expectation.
Yeah, exactly. So on that, setting the right expectation. Do you know the difference between a mobile notary and online notarization? You do? Come here. No. So,
because the lender.
Do you allow it? Yeah. Do you approve it? Do you allow them? Yeah. So sometimes there's problems with that. There could be computer error, elderly people, people that can't do technology. So when we send it to notarize.com, they have up to 24 hours to upload their docs they need and to schedule with you or to put it in the system, and then you can sign. So sometimes people are waiting and waiting and waiting, and they're like, send the docs. We already, the buyer already signed or seller already signed or whatever. Where's our docs? We don't know. We sent them in there. It could take up to 24 hours. So just set that expectation with your clients that it could take up to 24 hours. And there is, user error, sometimes they don't know what they're doing or can't figure out how to log in and things like that. So that is $150. And then online or mobile notary is between $150 and $200, but you set up a time that's convenient for you. and they come out, even if they're in another state. If you want to do mobile notary, we have partners with you know, a company that provides a mobile notary in whatever state you're in, whatever city you're in. So those are the two options. That's like 150 to 200. So those are two options. You want to know my fun fact, my real estate fun fact? It's a two-part. The Seattle Kingdom was so expensive that the building wasn't paid off until 2015, a full 15 years after it was demolished. Before it was demolished, and this is the other.
What building?
Seattle Kingdom.
Oh, the Kingdom.
Yeah, I talked too fast. Sorry. I try and get like out of here quick. Part two of the Seattle Kingdom, before it was demolished. I met Jose, my husband, at the Kingdom. He was with Detroit Tigers and I was there watching a game. He was signing autographs. I walked by, we met. So I took that ticket. Well, obviously then he got traded to the Astros. That's why I'm here. But I took that ticket before they demolished the Kingdom. I bought that actual seat.
Oh, that's awesome.
So thank you. Bye.
Okay. See.
That's all right.
What happened, Catherine?
I just pointed for her to come up and she
still
wasn't
come
quite
up and
prepared.
stand next item.
You can still come up
Yeah.
and join me.
If he says something you don't
Absolutely.
like, just smack him upside the head like an older brother.
Something like that.
You guys know I don't like being up here, right?
Yes, we like you up here, so it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing that kind of seems to resonate right now is setting expectations. You know, your buyers need to know what they're going to potentially be up against from a time constraint or different aspects tied to the real estate transaction. And so, as Chad alluded to, the contract is still out there. It is still a viable contract until that earnest money is released. We as lenders potentially could miss a closing date for whatever reason. It could be something to do with appraisals. It could have something to do with title work or HOA certificates, different things like that in the transaction that would require that we have to extend a closing date. So I have a closing that happened yesterday. The agent was on top of it and they sent an extension for the closing date without me having to contact them and ask them to do that. The only reason I want to bring this up is this is a potential delay in your closing for the underwriting for whichever lender you're closing with. So we want to let you know that because we've extended closing dates, the lender and everyone, again, wants to make certain that that file and that transaction is fully buttoned up. It's your duty to supply as compliant of a contract as we can provide. So in regards to appraisers, we're still seeing appraisers are wanting to give us a 3-week to 25-day minimum turnaround on appraisals. We're getting phone calls. I had an email just a moment ago that I got a contract signed yesterday, but the people want to close on the 16th of August. Not going to happen. Unfortunately, you've got to let these buyers know that in today's market, this is what's going on, especially for the agents that are not doing a ton of transactions. You've got to check in. You've got to look at the information in regards to what's going on in the market to know how to fully communicate to your buyers and to the sellers. The sellers just know they got a contract. The buyers know they want to move into a house. We want to do it tomorrow. It's not realistic. So set those expectations. We're here to help. Anything you want to add to that?
Setting expectations is really important. I mean, just because you hand us a contract doesn't mean your hands are, you're done. I mean, you do also have to remind them, are you getting your docs in? You know, extending that contract is not something we want to do, but sometimes we have to do it because we waited 2 days for a bank statement. So setting expectations is really important right from the beginning. Hey, when you get to the contract stage, make sure you're sending in your documents within 24 hours. Don't wait 2-3 days. Well, I'm seeing a lot of borrowers not bringing in their things on time. So setting expectations. I'm just going to piggyback off of that.
You might look at this opportunity too, though, that if you don't get an offer accepted, It's a chance for your buyers to continue saving their money, continue putting those funds aside for the transaction. It's going to just make them a much more qualified buyer down the road when they do have the opportunity to get an offer accepted. Okay, thank you all.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, keep hearing, get there first. Tell them the truth, right? Understand your market conditions and everything going. All right, we got lunch for the people who made it here today. Graham, you ready? Come on up. We got people online too, so you're going to stand right here.
Just here.
Right here. Go for it. It's all
Great.
yours.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My big thanks to Barbara for allowing me to come here and explain the foreign national financing. Something I want to share with you. I want to help you grow your business because I've been in Houston 2 years now, and it's apparent to me that there are far more foreign national people around than maybe we really know. Bit of background, first of all. My name's Graham Astrop. I'm with New City Mortgage near Jersey Village. And I've been dealing with foreign national financing for probably 22 years, mainly in Florida up until 2 years ago, and then in Houston and Florida. So I'm licensed in Texas as well as Florida. And it's interesting to hear about the appraisals because in Florida, the average age of an appraiser is 58 years old. And there is clearly a shortage of appraisers coming through the system. So we, like you, are up to 3 weeks, possibly 3.5 weeks for an appraisal that pre-COVID was 1 week. And you'd pay $100 for a rush and it was 48 hours. So again, my colleague there, definitely, you've got to know the market, and we are in strange times, but we've got to be realistic. 2 years ago when I came to Texas, it was a 30-day close, but probably that's extremely difficult now. But anyway, let me run through the foreign national financing. Something just a few statistics first, because it's incredible the number of foreign national people in California, Nevada, Texas, Florida, New York, even New Jersey, believe it or not. But some statistics for you very briefly. The COVID period, March 2020 to March 2021, would you believe $54.4 billion worth of closings took place for foreign nationals?
So what's a foreign national? Break that down for him.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly. There are two types, and they sound like diseases, but type A is a foreign national who does not live here, lives and works in another country, and comes here for vacation. The other type of foreign national is a type B. They are people like non-resident aliens who are here on temporary work visas. And many of them have not yet been here for 2 years. So those are the two types of foreign nationals that make up the 54.4 billion. Quite incredible, although when you put it in perspective, the national closings for last year, 2020 to 2021, was 1.96 trillion. So the foreign national really only forms about 3% of the total closings in America. But nevertheless, if you're in an area, and Texas is one, Florida, California, you can make a good income and a good business out of overseas buyers. And as I say, I'm here to share in your success and help you grow your foreign national business. That's my speciality. I don't deal with domestic loans. I leave that to the experts. Yes. Right. So foreign national financing is a bit of a niche market, and you really need to know what you're doing. So just looking at the handout that I've given, I'm afraid I'm old fashioned. I don't deal with PowerPoints. That's okay. We've got the handout. Again, there's two main types of foreign national borrowers. First of all, the people that come on vacation, work, live overseas full time. And the other is, believe it or not, US citizens. I must get 2 or 3 calls a year from people, for example, an American that's working and living in London. Calls, wants a mortgage, I've got 5% to put down, I'm ready to buy. Not going to happen, because even though you're a US citizen, you are working and living outside the country. And if you've been working and living outside the country for 2 years or more, you're not an American citizen for mortgage purposes. So they're very disgruntled when they find out they've got to put a minimum 30% down and not the conventional 3%, 3.5%, 5%. It's minimum 30%. So that's one type of foreign national, and we're going to deal with that mainly this morning. The other type is, of course, the people that are here on visas and those people that are here on green cards. Those are the other type of foreign national buyers. But as I say, I want to concentrate more on the people that don't live here, come here for vacation. Now, believe it or not, the 5 top countries for the foreign nationals coming here and buying property: Canada, Mexico, China, and this one I didn't realize, India is number 4, with the UK number 5. So they make up that $54.4 billion over the last 12 months. Another interesting statistic before we get into all the guidelines is the top 10 destinations. First of all is Florida, 22%. Secondly, California, 16%. And here we have it, Texas is 3rd. So all these overseas people are choosing Texas as the 3rd most popular state for buying property. So again, the business is there for you. Go and get it. After this morning, I hope you'll feel that no longer do you have to say to a buyer, it's a dead deal, you won't get financing, sorry, we can't help you. You will get the buyer financed through foreign national financing. So we've got the 2 types of foreign national buyers. The main ones, as I say, the people that come on vacation and they want to buy a vacation home, they love the lifestyle, beautiful houses, got a pool, and they want to buy. So you get a call from someone with a funny accent like mine wanting to look at a house. Obviously, you need to know whether they're going to qualify. And I can pre-qualify a buyer probably in 30 minutes, just speaking to them, because the guidelines are so lax compared to the conventional, the FHA and the VA. So much easier to qualify. So there are 2 types of loan products that we can offer. The first one, the obvious one, is verified income. Prove your income, show you've got verified assets enough to buy a property, and you're virtually pre-approved. The other one, believe it or not, and we've not learned a thing from the big crash, is no income and verified assets. And that is no income. As long as you can prove with bank statements that you've got the 30%, the closing costs, and 6 months housing reserves, and the housing reserves are mandatory, you can't get around that. And that's basically PETA, principal interest, taxes, and HOA. Provided they can show all that, again, they're pre-approved. It's virtually impossible to deny a loan where someone is applying for a no income mortgage to buy a vacation home. So those are the 2 main products that we offer. So once you've got that, we can close in the name of an LLC or individual names. And there is no hit on the rate if it's an LLC. It's a level playing field. It has to be a Texas LLC, or where I also practice a Florida LLC. It can't be a UK limited company coming over to purchase. It has to be a Texas LLC. So once you've established that, the basic guidelines for all borrowers, let's take verified income first of all. Prove your income. So we need 2 years tax certificates, and that's basically 2 years W-2s. And then a letter from the employer just confirming the 2 years income and when they started work, the job description, and that's it. No tax returns whatsoever. So you can see the verified income is purely based on 2 years W-2s equivalent, letter from the employer, and that's all we need. And then 2 months bank statements showing you've got the 30%, the closing costs, and the 6 months reserves. And then just details of the domestic property in the UK. In other words, property taxes, how much do they pay? Buildings insurance, how much do they pay? Obviously to get their debt to income ratio. And the maximum debt to income ratio for foreign nationals starts at 43%, but we can go to 50%, but it just means that we have to reduce the loan to value from 70% to 65. But I can assure you, I'm working with all sorts of foreign nationals. Their debt to income ratio is below 30%. It's quite incredible. So that's the straightforward verified income. Now we come on to the no income again. Don't need anything to do with your income. Just need name and address of employer. We don't check, we don't call them. And then if you're self-employed, name of your company, and that's it. No reference to income at all in the application. And again, we need to see verified assets such as your bank statements, things like that, and pre-approved. So that's what I was saying before. I can pre-approve someone in 30 minutes, just talking to them. I don't need any specific documents because we take it on trust that what they're telling me is correct. And if it isn't, it's on them. So that's the guidelines. The down payment, minimum 30%, whether it's no income product or whether it's verified income. Before pre-COVID, it was I could do 20% or 25%, but the lenders are a bit cautious now, even with the overseas people, minimum 30%. So we've got you pre-approved, we've got the appraisal done, we're working towards closing for a foreign national. Anybody heard of FIRPTA? Yep. Well, that's important, extremely important. And believe it or not, it's not a new concept. It was brought into being in 1980 because foreigners were coming over, buying up farmlands, even buying up oil fields, not necessarily Texas, but they were buying domestic investments, selling at a profit and leaving the country, not paying any taxes to the IRS. So it was brought in, and now, of course, it affects every residential sale if it's a foreign seller. Now, the importance of that as the buyer's realtor is that the buyer is liable for FIRPTA regardless, not the seller, but the buyer. So you need to see on the HUD statement or the CD a withholding of 15%. And if you don't see that on the HUD or the CD, you do not close. Because if the foreign seller leaves the country owing taxes, you'll get a letter from the IRS in whenever, 12 months, 18 months, wanting tax, penalties and interest. And there's no point saying, well, I don't owe it, it's the seller. Yes, you do. Because once you close, the burden continues with you for owing any taxes that the seller may have had. So that's important. Check the HUD, check the CD. If there's no 15% withholding, you don't close until you do further due diligence. Okay, so I was interested to hear about the closings, the two closings. There are actually 4 closings if you want. You've got your personal attendance. Well, of course, that's extremely difficult in COVID because nobody can come in. We've got travel bans all over the place. So the personal attendance is out. The one that I deal with for the past 15, 20 years is the mail away. And that quite simply is the title company will email all the closing documents. The borrower will print them and then take them to 2 places. They will either take them to a local UK notary, for example, get them notarized, send them back. Or if you've got a really awkward lender, they will insist that you get an appointment with a US embassy, yes, which is a major problem, For example, the US embassy in London is only open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week between 10 and 4. So, and you have to make the appointment online. Now, how can you explain to your buyer or your seller, in fact, I'm sorry, I can't get an appointment until September the 5th for a closing that's taking place on 30th of August. I can assure you that the lenders that I work with accept local notaries. So there's no question of a US embassy. You don't have to put your buyer in jeopardy at all. You will close on time with a UK notary, or in fact, I've just done a Mexican notary, closed on time without a problem. That's the second. The third is actually a power of attorney. We don't tend to accept those because of the potential fraud with the foreign nationals. So basically, it's either a personal attendance, or a mail away. The fourth one, which is a RON closing, remote online, again, most foreign national lenders don't like because of the potential fraud. So basically, that's the foreign national financing in a nutshell. Just bear in mind that notaries are required to notarize documents. In Europe, and I think in Canada, we do not use notaries. I'm from England. We do not use notaries for witnessing legal documents. A JP can, Justice of the Peace can witness, a local lawyer can witness, but when we get international documents, we need a notary. The problem with that is in the UK, there are 115,000 lawyers, but only 1,000 notaries. In other words, outside America, you cannot become a notary unless you're a lawyer. So every notary that we have outside America has to be a lawyer, and there is a shortage. So just bear that in mind. Sometimes a UK buyer has to travel 40, 50 miles to a UK notary. Just can't walk into CVS and have something notarized. They've got to travel. But other than that, the foreign national side is extremely streamlined. So again, if you get a lead that isn't a US citizen, don't feel despondent, you will close. Just finishing off, if I've got a couple of minutes, very briefly, we also finance non-US citizens who are living and working here, even within 2 years. Now, as you probably know, you need 2 years unemployment, 2 years employment, 2 years US credit for conventional FHA, etc. With foreign nationals, if somebody emigrates here, and I've got it at the moment, they moved here in January of this year. They bought a landscaping company in Florida, but they have been qualified for a foreign national mortgage on 6 months residence in Florida. And the reason for that is that we can actually go back to their UK employment and say, okay, provide document evidence that you were employed in the UK, put that together with the 6 months, we've got more than 2 years, you're approved. So don't feel that if you get a buyer that's only been here, working here for say 6 months or a year, they won't qualify. We can get around that. Very straightforward.
Awesome. All
So-
right. Good information on the foreign national. Got a good contact as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. One here, stay here for some lunch.
Yep, lunch is served.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And if you got some more questions for Graham, he'll be
Yes,
hanging
please.
around as well.
Please
All right.
do.
Have a great day. Sign up for the bus shuttle. Siena. Murtis is going.